and welcome, dear viewers, presenting you the latest domestic and international news from the entire world and our country, Eritrea. Live from the headquarters of Asmara is me, Hermela Girmay, inviting you to join us on our tonight's news broadcast. Let's start with the major headlines. President Isaias receives and congratulated Henok Mulburhan. Workshop on document for export of organic fertilizer. Iran's foreign trade at $99.7 billion in 7 months to late October. And Indonesia at last 10 deaths as Indonesia's Lucky volcano erupts, burns homes. On our domestic news, President Isaias Afwerki in the morning hours today received and encouraged in Adahalo professional cyclist Henok Mulburhan, the champion of African Continental Cycling Championship 2024. President Isaias paid tribute to Henok's unparalleled achievement in the annals of Eritrean and African cycling and expressed his trust in Henok's bright prospects to excel in major international cycling races in the period ahead, thereby imbuing greater prestige to his country as well as to his own international rankings. Henok presented the President Isaias the jersey he won in the 2024 African Continental Cycling Championships and stated that the President Isaias' word of inspiration will further motivate him to achieve greater victories. Henok Mulburhan previously won the African Continental Cycling Championship in 2022 in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, in 2023 in Accra, Ghana, and now in 2024 in Kenya. It's worth noting that President Isaias also welcomed the Eritrean national cycling team on 15 October, recognizing their achievement of 16 medals, including 7 gold, at the African Continental Cycling Championship that was held from 9 to 13 October in Kenya. The Ministry of Agriculture held a workshop on 1 November in Asmara to finalize a regulatory document on the quality standards for organic fertilizer exports. Mr. Takhla'ab Misgina, Director General of Regulation and Control at the Ministry, stated that while the use of organic fertilizer is not new in Eritrea, no official guidelines had previously been in place for dry and liquid fertilizers intended for export. He emphasized that the workshop aimed to formally adopt this long-awaited regulatory document. Mr. Takhla'ab highlighted that the Ministry of Agriculture, in collaboration with the Ministry of Marine Resources, is actively promoting organic fertilizer production. Special attention is given to ensuring environmentally friendly practices to support food security nationwide. The new document outlines quality standards for natural fertilizers, provides licensing criteria for producing enterprises, and encourages export opportunities. It also includes provisions for training programs to improve fertilizer production from waste materials with a focus on food security. Participants engaged in extensive discussions on the comparative advantages of organic fertilizers and additional content for the document. The workshop saw participation from senior agricultural experts, representatives of relevant ministries, and enterprises involved in organic fertilizer production. Adda Abito, Fresalam, Mbadagara, Warsai, and Baht Mascaram Junior Schools in Asmara have awarded outstanding students for their performance in the 2023 and 2024 8th grade national examination. A total of 192 students who scored 80 points and above received recognition. School directors congratulated the students, encouraging them to use achievements as a stepping stone in their educational journeys. They also urged parents to maintain regular involvement in their children's academic progress. Mrs. Saliha Muhammad Ali, Administrator of Edaga Hamus Subzone and Chairperson of the Parent Committees, highlighted that the students' success resulted from the combined efforts of students, parents, and teachers. They called on the awardees to continue striving for academic excellence. Mr. Abrahalle Al-Rafaina, head of the Southeast Asmara Education Office, stated that these awards aim to recognize the achievements of outstanding students and inspire their peers to pursue academic excellence. Dear viewers, we'll be come back for our international news right after the short break. Welcome back. Figures by Iran's customs office show the value of the country's foreign trade reached nearly $100 billion in the 7 months to late October. Iran's customs office initial trade figures for October disclosed by its CEO Mohammad Rizvanifar on Sunday showed that Iran's trade with other countries, including its exports of crude oil and technical and engineering services, had reached a total of $99.7 billion in the 7 calendar months to October 21st. Rizvanifar said that Iran's exports in April to October had amounted to $60.22 billion, including $27 billion in crude oil and mezet exports and some $0.7 billion in technical and engineering services exports. Imports into Iran reached a total of $39.5 billion over the 7 months to late October, including $3.4 billion worth of standard gold bullion imports, he said. Iran had a non-oil trade deficit of nearly $7 billion over the April-October period, showed ERi-TV figures, which also indicated that the country's non-oil exports had increased by 11.48% in volume terms compared to the same period last year to reach a total of 88.7 million metric tons. Iran's petrochemical exports, a main source of earning hard currency for the country, reached $15.2 billion in the 7 months to late October, a year-on-year increase of 24%, the figure showed. China was Iran's largest trading partner and the largest buyer of Iranian exports in April till October, said Rizvanifar, adding that the East Asian country had been responsible for $8.6 billion worth of purchases of Iranian goods and commodities over the period. He said Iran's exports to Iraq had reached $7.3 billion over the 7 months to late October, while shipments delivered to buyers in the United Arab Emirates and Turkey had topped $4.22 billion and $3.3 billion respectively. Iran's importers from the United Arab Emirates, the largest re-exporting hub in the Persian Gulf, was at $12 billion over the 7 months period, said the Iran's customs office chief, adding that Turkey was the 3rd largest exporter to Iran after the United Arab Emirates and China, with some $6.6 billion worth of shipments delivered to the country over the period. On our last international news, the 1,703-meter twin volcano eruption on Flores Island forces authorities to evacuate several villages. At least 10 people have died after a series of volcanic eruptions took place in eastern Indonesia, spewing fireballs and ash on surrounding villages and burning down several houses. The eruption of Mount Lewotobi Laki-Laki, a 1,703-meter twin volcano located on the popular tourist island of Flores, took place just after midnight on Monday, forcing authorities to evacuate several villages. Abdul Muharri, spokesman of the country's disaster mitigation agency, confirmed that the death toll at a new conference, adding that 10,295 people had been affected by the eruptions. He said the number of evacuees was still being calculated. The country's volcanology agency increased the volcano's alert status to the highest level and more than doubled the exclusion zone to a 7-kilometer radius as eruptions became more frequent. The agency said at least 10,000 people were affected by the eruption in Vulajintag district in the 6 nearby villages of Pupulera, Nawokote, Hokengjaya, Kolatanlo, Buru, and Burukedang. Residents described their horror when the crater started to shoot flaming rocks at their homes. I was asleep when the bed shook twice, as if someone had slammed it. Then I realized that the volcano had erupted, so I ran outside. Hairdresser Hermanos Might told the AFP news agency. I saw flames coming out and immediately fled. There was ashes and stones everywhere. My salon was caught fire and everything inside was lost, the 32-year-old added. Footage received by AFP showed houses near the volcano covered by thick ash, with some areas on fire. An AFP journalist near the volcano said 5 villages were evacuated, forcing thousands of people to seek shelter elsewhere. Some wooden homes caught fire and the ground was pockmarked with holes caused by flying molten rocks. The volcanology agency warned that there was potential for rain-induced lava floods and told locals to wear masks to protect against the volcanic ash. There were eruptions at the volcano last week, the biggest on Thursday, sending a column of ash 2,000 meters into the sky. The mountain had several major eruptions in January, prompting authorities to evacuate at least 2,000 residents. Indonesia, a vast archipelago nation, experiences, due to its position on the Pacific Ring of Fire, an area of intense volcanic and seismic activity. In December last year, an eruption at one of the country's most active volcanoes, Mount Marapi in West Sumatra, killed at least 24 climbers, most of them university students. And in May, more than 60 people died after heavy rains washed volcanic material from Marapi into residential areas, sweeping away homes. That month, in North Sulawesi province erupted more than half a dozen times, forcing thousands of residents of nearby islands to evacuate. Dear viewers, we are done with the news prepared for this session, and now a recap of our major headlines. President Isaias receives and congratulated Henok Mulburhan. Workshop on document for export of organic fertilizer. Iran's foreign trade at $99.7 billion in 7 months to late October. And Indonesia, at least 10 dead as Indonesia's Laki volcano erupts, burns homes. Dear viewers, that was all for tonight. Thank you for watching.